Okay. Hi, Ryan. How are
Hi.
you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Well, as you probably know, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and at CASA, we like to raise awareness by having our pinwheel display.
Mhm.
And we wanted to share your story as a CASA volunteer, so we thought we'd do a little Q&A with you today.
Sure.
So you can share a little bit about your journey with CASA and what brought you to us and how things are going.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we start with your name and how long you've been a CASA volunteer?
My name is Ryan Schempp. I've been at CASA for just about 3 years now, and I'm loving it.
Beautiful. Okay, well, next question is kind of a two-part. Outside of your role as a CASA, who is Ryan Schempp and what do you do for work? What are some of your hobbies and passions?
Yeah. I currently am building a construction business here in Bakersfield. Started a few months ago. Things are going well. It's taking a lot of my time. Some hobbies and or passions, I would say construction. Anything, I'm always building something, working on somebody's house, or tinkering around. So
Okay. Like, so
playing
you
around.
like to create
Yeah,
things.
yeah, I'm playing around with my little 2-year-old son. So that's taking some time now too, and it's fun.
Yeah.
So
Of course, a lot of running around, I
yeah.
imagine. Okay, next question is you became a CASA volunteer in early 2022.
Mhm.
So, what inspired you to take that step and becoming an advocate for a foster youth?
Yeah, so I had a friend that she actually went through the whole process, and unfortunately, she had to move, so she was unable to really do any work here in Kern County. So when she went through the process, she had learned that CASA was looking for men to help out, and she, grateful enough, thought of me to at least try. So I got in touch, I believe, with you,
Mm-hmm.
and went through the process, and that's really how I became familiar with it and what it provides and how it helps our community. And um, yeah,
Yeah, wonderful. It seems like so long ago.
it does. Yeah.
Time went by really quickly. Okay, so what can you tell us about going through the CASA training and how do you feel it prepared you for your first case?
Going through it was fine. It was quick. It was pretty painless, honestly. I had a great instructor, and the information that is portrayed in this program is it's enlightening. You don't realize what these kids go through and what and how people can really help change a child's life. That, I think, to me was just really didn't know much about it,
Mhm.
and going through it, learning all about all the kids' different situations and how thinking where I can maybe step in and be like, well, I can maybe help with that situation. This one maybe not, but for sure here.
Mhm.
So the training offered a whole bunch of different, I guess, scenarios, and you could really see yourself in one of those scenarios how you can fit in and help.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So, what would you say has been the most challenging part of advocating for your CASA youth?
Actually, just recently, my child has kind of been getting into some more trouble, and he's had to go to the detention center a few times. And that, to me, I've never had to experience anything like that with really any friends or family or anything like that.
Mm.
So this is quite a new journey, and I think I'm still processing how this is all going to go from here.
Mhm.
There's talks of maybe him moving away, and so that's kind of sad. I know he's not happy with that, and I'm not either. But it's kind of out of our hands. So
Right.
that to me is a tough part of this, I think. And up to then, I think things have been going pretty great. So
Yeah, and you've been with him for a while, haven't you?
yeah, all 3 years.
Yeah.
So he was my first and only
Mhm.
so far.
Yeah, it's a long time
Mm-hmm.
to, work one on one
Yeah.
with a youth and then to have him go through
Mm-hmm.
those challenges.
Absolutely.
Well, on the flip side of that, what would you say has been the most fulfilling part of being a CASA? And do you have a memorable moment maybe with your CASA youth that stands out to
Yeah.
you?
I took him to a hockey game and he really liked it, the Condors. And I think just getting out of the house and just out of the day to day going to school, coming home, going to school, coming home, sitting home at weekends, like something different, you know, once a week was really, really, really fun. We try to go to different places. Most of the time, we just kind of go out around town at different dinner places and just get a bite to eat and get them out of the house, like I said. Um, Explore new foods and new areas around town that maybe he's never been familiar with.
Mm.
We did the Christmas lights through Hagen Oaks. Like he really liked that. We go across the street, get uh, ice cream at Rocket Fizz, and then drive over and look at the Christmas lights and just different experiences. I think have been really fun. Not big things,
Yeah,
just things that he normally probably wouldn't even get to do um, in a group home or any other situation like that. So
right. And maybe not have someone else to do those things with.
correct, yeah, yeah, and I just those little things I think just make a difference in a child's life. They don't have to be grandiose things.
Yeah,
Just getting them out and seeing the neighborhood.
yeah. And just taking the time to talk to them.
Yeah,
It feels like you do that quite a
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
That's wonderful. Okay, so how do you think having a CASA has impacted his life?
I would like to hope it kept him out of trouble a little bit longer. Um, he might have. There were some situations that arose sooner that if I wasn't there, maybe could have got him into some bigger trouble sooner in life.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe him or maybe me being around maybe pushed it back a little bit now that he's a little bit older and he's maybe starting to understand
Mm-hmm.
hopefully his consequences. Um, Maybe that will help him get through this current situation that he's in now, and he recognizes that he just doesn't have a chance to mess up as much as he maybe used to.
Right, right.
So
And
I hope that's kind of what I know. He definitely loves our time together, and he's really bummed that he's in detention right now. So
right. Well, yeah, hopefully, it resonates with him,
mm,
take some time to process and all of those things that transition into, you know, young adulthood
yeah,
can be very challenging for anybody,
mm.
but especially for kids who are in foster care. But okay, so what would you say are your hopes for your CASA child's life?
Just stay out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a great kid. He really does want to do the right thing, and he just sometimes things slip. And I hope, like I said, I hopefully he's at an age now where he's starting to learn these consequences
Mm-hmm.
of his actions. Um, yeah, I just really hope he gets through this period and he learns and can move forward with high school. And he talks about wanting to do sports medicine and things like that. That's an ambitious goal, and
Mm-hmm.
he talks about it a lot. And I hope he can do that, but he has to go through school and do the right things. And I I hope the best for him, and hopefully we can work together with him.
Right.
Me, myself, and him, and get him to that goal. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful dream for him.
yeah,
If someone is considering becoming a CASA volunteer, but maybe they're feeling unsure about moving forward, what would you say to them?
I'd say at least give the training a try. You It can seem intimidating or daunting to take on a child. You think you have to spend 48 hours with them all the time, and you don't. They just need somebody there that's consistent, that shows up once, twice a week, maybe for an hour or two here and there, but that will be there when they say they're gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just going through the training, you really do get a sense of that these kids don't need a whole lot. They just need somebody there for them. Go through the training, and then make the decision for yourself and your family, because it does take a toll on your family as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because you come home and sometimes you're sad, you're blue, you're not feeling good about what's going on with your kid, but you have to obviously do your best to carry on your own life. So there is an emotional attachment to this that if you think you can handle it after going through the training, I highly suggest giving it a try.
Yeah.
I don't, I yeah, I believe it's not as daunting as people might think it is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and you're, you've worked a full-time job,
Yeah,
you have a 2-year-old.
yeah,
So, I mean, you had a child during the time that you've been an advocate. I
yeah,
mean, like, you've really been doing it all,
yeah.
and you've been consistent. You know, you've been with him for 3 years now.
Hmm.
So, obviously, you've been there for him in
Hmm.
through so many things. So, I think that's been very impactful for him. I've got one last question for
Sure.
you, Ryan. Okay, so pinwheel symbolizes hope and joy that every child deserves. And for April, which is Child Abuse Prevention Month, we use pinwheels to kind of, raise awareness about child abuse and the need for more CASA volunteers.
Hmm.
So, what would you say are your thoughts that you would like to share of joy and hope for others before we go?
Lots of joy and hope. Yeah, I mean, just I think that kind of it goes along with that last question. And when you see, at least with my kid, uh, when you expose them to a new situation or a new experience, you see a joy on their face that I don't think a lot of people get to see. And even just taking him bowling one night, he had never been bowling, and just seeing him light up, have a great time, really just let that energy out and just be a kid. Uh, that that really gets you, and that makes you want to do more of this,
Yeah.
even through the hard times. So even just those little wins, I think, really seal the deal for this type of organization and what this all means and what we're trying to do in our community and how we can better the kids' lives around us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, beautiful words, Ryan. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story with everyone.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.